With me here today is the 2024 Young Mining Professional of the Year award winner, Ella Cullen. She won the Eira Thomas Award. We had a lot of really great nominees, and Ella ended up winning. She's a CMO and co-founder of MindSpider. She's traveled the world. She still travels the world. She's from New Zealand. She went to school in New Zealand. Then she went to Italy. Then she went to Portugal. Then she went to Copenhagen. And she's in mining. She's working for a company that traces supply chain and raw materials and is adding provenance to different materials as well. So not only do we have a female young miner, but someone else is just trying to help improve the sustainability of the industry. It's great to have a winner in mining and sustainability for the Ira Thomas Award. I just want to say thank you very much for all your hard work and congratulations, Ella.
Thank you so much, Tony. Such an honor, and thank you for the warm welcome.
So just tell us a bit about yourself. So you're from New Zealand. How did you get to where you got to right now?
I think you covered a lot of it, but yeah, I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand, and I guess once I got out of New Zealand, just had a fascination for the world, for traveling the world, and ended up in tech in Berlin back in the day, and then eventually made my way into the space of blockchain around 2017. And at that time, blockchain was very popular with real world solutions or trying to solve real world problems, and supply chains were one of them. And my co-founder Nathan had this idea that, we could, well, at the time we had the Dodd-Frank Act basically coming up with this section 1502 that said, if you're sourcing cobalt from the DRC, you need to be doing your due diligence. And instead of people actually doing that, they just stopped sourcing from the DRC. And Nathan said, hey, there has to be a better way. And so I met him when he basically had the first white paper, had the inklings of building MindSpider. And I thought it was an awesome idea. And I thought that we could really, produce some change in the world. So that was 6 years ago now. Yeah, and over the last 6 years, we've had amazing partners. So we started off in the early days with Minsur, who's still one of our biggest clients. We track about 10% of the world's tin from their mines in Peru at the moment. And also started off with Volkswagen, and now these days we have a battery passport, and we work with companies like Ford and Renault on tracking those battery metals. So it's been quite an adventure. These days I live in Lisbon in Portugal, so eternally chasing the sun. But no, very happy. Also now that we have remote work, obviously life is a bit easier. And especially when we have to go out and visit the mine sites or the smelting facilities.
What I love about what you're doing in your company is, it's sustainable. You're making sure the right metals are entering the workplace or we're entering the market, but at the same time you're kind of affecting that supply by making sure of that. So you're helping all the miners, because if you change the supply, you affect the price. It's just economics 101. You're utilizing blockchain, uh,
Yeah.
Internet of Things, AI, and as well, you're kind of combining the different industries together instead of just mining. You're talking about Ford and Google, so you're kind of bringing all the industries and having the worlds collide. So it's great that companies like Ford can learn a little bit more about our great industry in mining. So I guess the question for you I have is, as a woman in the mining industry, quote unquote, how's your experience been in the last couple of years?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of different roles for women in mining, right? If we start from like the ASM side, we've got, I think it's 12 to 15 million women working in ASM. I was in Uganda recently at one of our smelting partners there. And then you see like we're trying to upskill women at the most basic level, get them away from, just cooking the food on the side of the mine to actually being able to do some of the work and getting higher pay for doing that work. Then obviously you go to the woman working in LSM. I have a lot of amazing friends that do explosive, for instance, in Australia, working in the big mines there. But they're out in the middle of nowhere in Western Australia, one woman for every 700 men, which is a struggle in itself. My experience has obviously been a bit less extreme than either of those. So in the corporate world of mining, I would say it is a very open culture. And I think, mining obviously hasn't always had the best reputation, but we work with a lot of good actors, a lot of people that are really trying to bring about change. And my experience as a woman has only been super positive because they're open to change. They see the industry needs to move forward. Um, we also know that companies that have women in the teams perform better on sustainability metrics. And I think the industry as a whole sees that it needs to step up its game when it comes to sustainability. And you can't do that without diverse teams.
The mining word's kind of a dirty word, but oil and gas changed the energy. I really think mining industry should just
Needs to
change the metal
rebrand.
to change to the metal industry. You're in it. There's a lot of people in the industry that work in accounting, etc. So just hearing you say that kind of brought a bit of a light bulb to my head. Now, for
Yeah.
the crowd, you've been all over the world. You've seen a lot of unique situations, been to a lot of countries. Tell us one crazy story. A lot of university students are out there. They're trying to figure out what they want to do. Tell us a really crazy story that you experienced during your time in this industry.
Oof, crazy story. So I haven't been to the DRC yet. I've had a couple of opportunities, but we had other people from the team go. Honestly, I mean, I think the craziest thing for me is just seeing ASM mines. When we design technology, we often sit in this kind of ivory tower in Germany, where I worked before, in Portugal, and just to go there and see on the ground how these people are working. So obviously, I've seen mines that partners of ours worked with, which were really top on health and safety, and I've seen mines that weren't in any way top on health and safety. And we're designing, for instance, in part of this grant, we're working in Liberia, and our role is to see how we can get a social license to operate, how we can support the community, and how we can train these people in health and safety. And then you realize nobody can read or write, nobody has a mobile phone or internet. Most of them, might work 1 day a week or 4 days a week and then leave for a month. It just challenges a lot of your ideas. So maybe not so crazy as in terms of a wild story, but I think it's crazier the perceptions we have when we're designing technology, when we're designing solutions for miners, and we need to be there on the ground to really make sure that we challenge those perceptions and build technology and build products that actually help people.
What's your favorite thing about the metals industry?
Probably the excuse to travel a lot.
Yeah, get to see the world.
My co-founder, he's going to Chongqing in China next week. I might have to go to Chile. Obviously, I just got back from Uganda. And it's not even just the travel, but it's that when you do go, you go to places that you wouldn't normally go as a tourist. The teams that we work with on the ground are incredible, so hospitable, and then you get to interact with the locals a lot. So I really love that. Obviously, coming from New Zealand, I just want to see the world, and working in the mining industry is a great excuse to do so.
So we're getting really off topic here, but this is stuff that just interests people that want to watch. So look, you live in Europe, you've been all over there. Let's forget Europe. Name
Yeah.
the best meal you've had kind of outside there during your traveling in mining.
Oof, this meal. I mean, my favorite food country is Mexico. I did not go to any mines in Mexico. I
Okay.
was trying to, but no, I've always been a sucker for tacos. But I mean, I think in Uganda I had a Rolex, which is this chapati with an omelette wrapped in it. And that was awesome. That was awesome. You got some big drives in those countries, right? Like it's 8 hours to get here. It's another 6 hours to go to the mine site to the smelter. So you're often eating in the car. So I think the Rolex was the most convenient meal and most delicious that I've had in a while.
Well, I think most people that are watching this haven't been to Uganda, so that's a really unique experience to
Amazing.
have. So, look, finally, like, congratulations again. Just let everyone know there's a long process to win this award. There's hundreds of applicants. We break it down to around 25 for male and female, and people around the globe. We vote on it. It's a 2 month process, and it comes down to a point system. And Ella and Scott ended up winning. And we like to do a little awards ceremony. It's usually during PDAC, and this year I believe we're gonna do it in September, and we're gonna do it in Toronto, and then next year we're gonna bring it back to the PDAC time. So Ella, I hope we can have you there. You come down to Toronto. It's not as crazy as going down to Africa or Mexico or anywhere in Europe, but I hope you can come down to Toronto. We can have you out, and I believe Mark Bristow, Eira Thomas, and Scott will all be there. So it'd be nice to get the young mining professionals from around the world there, and as well as you. So I just want to say thank you very much. It's very well deserved. If you want to say anything last to the audience, just
No,
go.
just say I'll absolutely be there. It sounds fantastic, and I hope we can live stream it or share it for other people to watch as well. Such an
Okay.
honor, and thank you. Thanks for the chat, Tony.